Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I have some pretty interesting news. Now, I'm sure you've probably already heard about this by now, but I still wanted to make a video giving you guys my thoughts on it. But before we get into the article, as always, I do have to remind you that if you like my content, if you want to support my content, remember to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Help me get this channel to 1,000 subs, and make sure to click on the bell icon so that you know every single time I post a brand new video. Now, with that being said, let's get into the actual article. So apparently, now this is possible. It's possible that a sequel to X-Men the Animated Series might be coming to Disney Plus. Now, let me just make something very clear. I love X-Men the Animated Series. I absolutely love it. I love the art style. Yes, the animation can look a bit stale compared to today's standards, but it is still good. It still holds up. You can still go back and watch it. It still told some amazing stories. And again, it is one of the, in my opinion, it is one of the best adaptations of comic book characters I have ever seen. And if you haven't watched it, please go watch it. Go watch it. It is pretty damn good. Now let's get into the actual article. The popular 90s X-Men animated series may be getting a sequel of some sort on Disney Plus. By the way, this comes to us from Cosmic Book News. Here's the thing: don't go to their websites, because as you can tell, you're just gonna get a shit ton of ads, and it's annoying as hell. Just don't go to their websites. Just watch this video on Disney Plus. Fans spotted new artwork that popped up on the streaming service of the X-Men the 90s animated series characters. The art features updated versions of the characters that resemble the look from the 90s show, including Professor X, Magneto, Cyclops, Wolverine, Rogue, Storm, Beast, Gambit, Jubilee, and Jean Grey. Okay, you can see it right here. Now, in all honesty, most of the characters look almost exactly the same. Cyclops, Wolverine, Rogue, Gambit, Jubilee, Charles Xavier, Magneto, and Beast, they all pretty much look the same. Or at least their character designs look the same as they did in the show. The only thing that's different, that I will say, is Storm and Jean Grey. They're the only ones who look kind of different. Storm, of course, has the mohawk, whereas before she had, the long silver hair, and Jean Grey, her outfit looks different. The costume definitely looks different, but for everyone else, it's pretty much the same. Like, I'm not really seeing any differences when it comes to the look of the characters, the overall look of the characters. Um, Worth a mention is why Disney would go to the trouble to create art for something that is old. They could simply use existing art to promote the show and wouldn't have to spend any money. I'm guessing that Disney realizes how big and popular the 90s X-Men animated series is from the number of views the show has received on Disney Plus. How the hell would you know? They don't release viewership numbers, so how do you know that it's getting a lot of viewers? I don't know. Okay. While Disney hasn't released official viewing numbers, simply by the fact this piece of new art for each character has been created leads me to believe that the show is really popular on the streaming service. What's ironic is that when the X-Men animated series launched over 25 years ago, it suffered from numerous problems, was delayed to the cost of $1 million, and Marvel almost pulled the show. What ended up saving the series is that it was getting primetime numbers, i.e. ratings, on Saturday morning. Yes, back when ratings actually mattered. Now, your show could have really shit ratings, and yet it would still keep going. Batwoman. Batwoman. Which now appears to be the case, or similar for Disney Plus, potentially leading to a revival or a sequel. Kevin Feige is reportedly a fan of the series, of course, why wouldn't he be? And with Feige basically in charge of all Marvel, maybe Feige is giving the green light to a new series. Let's just hope they keep the same theme song. Yeah, they would have to. If they got rid of the theme song, people would be pissed. Nobody would watch it. The theme song is one of the biggest reasons why people watch the show. The theme song is iconic. Now, overall, what do I think of this? Well, look, if you were to ask me 10 years ago, would I prefer, or no, not 10 years ago, 5 years ago, if you had asked me 5 years ago, would I have loved a sequel to X-Men the Animated Series? Yes, I would have just straight away answered yes. But today, considering Marvel, the direction that they're going now, and the fact that it's owned by Disney, no, 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 no. I do not want a sequel to X-Men the Animated Series. In fact, I don't want them to even touch the series. Leave the X-Men the animated series alone. Leave it alone, okay? I don't care if now you've got, you know, Disney's money backing you up and the animation could be stellar, which by the way I don't even believe it will be. If all of the animated shows that came out in Marvel since they were bought by Disney is anything to go by, the animation is going to be even worse than it was back in the 90s. And if you don't believe me, just go watch any of their animated series. Go watch the new Marvel Spider-Man. Go watch Avengers Assembled. If you want an idea as to what their animation is going to look like, it's going to suck. The character designs are going to look like shit, and the animation is going to be stale. Not to mention the stories are going to be absolute garbage. The only thing that might be good is the voice acting, but that's it. Everything else is going to suck. And remember, this is this, and you know what? A lot of people are gonna probably ask, well, if you're gonna make a sequel to X-Men the animated series, then bring back Spectacular Spider-Man, bring back Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, shows that were canceled ever since Marvel was bought by Disney. Marvel canceled those shows and brought in their own versions of the show. They canceled Spectacular Spider-Man and they brought in Ultimate Spider-Man. They canceled Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and they brought in Avengers Assembled. All shittier versions of shows that people really loved. And I don't want them to do that with X-Men the Animated Series. I'm sorry, I don't want them to do that. We already got another X-Men show. It was called X-Men Evolution. Now, in my opinion, it wasn't as good as X-Men the Animated Series, but it was still pretty damn good. And even that show got canceled before season 5 came out. Or I think it was season. Yeah, I think it was season 5. There was supposed to be a season 5 that dealt with some other famous X-Men storylines. I think I heard somewhere that season 5 was supposed to deal with the Dark Phoenix arc, and somewhere along the lines they would have introduced like Rogue. She would have eventually met up with Miss Marvel, and she would have taken her powers, which would have given us the Rogue that we know, who can fly, who has the super strength because she absorbed those powers from Miss Marvel. And you know, they were basically going to do all of that in season 5, but it got canceled. And instead, what they had to do was they settled for, in the last episode, they gave you flashes of, you know, in the of the future of the characters that we knew from the show. And one of them, we saw Rogue flying and with the super strength, and we saw Jean Grey with the Dark Phoenix. Which and it's still a shame that we never got to see that with that show. Another show that people want to come back that I keep hearing is Wolverine and the X-Men. Wolverine and the X-Men also got canceled after one season, which sucked. Again, normally there would have been a time where I would have loved for all of these shows to come back and for them to get the proper conclusions that they deserved. But now, because they're under Marvel, or now because Marvel is being bought by Disney, and considering the direction that Disney is obsessed with taking Marvel now in, I'm sorry, I don't want them to touch any of these shows until another company buys Marvel and they tell them, listen, all of this woke shit that you've been doing isn't gonna fly, because we've seen the numbers. We've seen the numbers, and it is, what you're doing just doesn't work. So from now on, you are gonna go back to doing things the right way. You're gonna go back to making stories for the fans, making stories for the fans who have supported you for all those years. You know, you remember the fans that you basically flipped off ever since, because they say things that you don't like. Yeah, those people, you're gonna go back to actually doing things for them. Okay? Until that happens, because until the point where another company buys Marvel, which I don't think is ever gonna happen, but it's nice to dream. And until Disney finally decides to do away with this woke shit that they're insanely obsessed with, I do not want them to go anywhere near this show. Or anywhere near these shows. Just leave them the way they are. I would rather leave them unfinished than put them in the hands of people who would rather wokeify all of these shows that we love, because they're obsessed with injecting their own political agendas into these shows that we loved. Then I just don't do it. Okay, don't do it. Just leave them alone. I do not want them to do this. And some people might say, well, wait, I mean, Kevin Feige, I mean, isn't he the guy who basically built up the the Marvel Cinematic Universe to what it is. Listen, that was back when they had to. Okay, you got to remember that was back when they had to. They had to bring in people by telling good stories that appeal to everyone. But now, because Marvel has that brand recognition, especially the MCU, they can put out a stupidly woke shit movie and it would still make $1 billion because it has that Marvel brand. And if anybody were to say anything bad about the movie, well then they just go, oh well, you're just an hysterophobe or any of that garbage. I'm sorry, I know I went off on a bit of a rant, but it's just the second I thought of this and the more I kept thinking about it, even as I was recording this video, I couldn't hold it in. Just don't do it. Okay, don't do it. Again, there would have been a time where I would have loved this, where I'd be jumping for joy, if I heard that a sequel to the series would have been possible. But now, just no, just no. Okay, no, no. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. I do not trust you anymore. I do not trust Marvel anymore. I don't trust Disney anymore. I don't trust them not to ruin it. But then again, you gotta remember, these are just my thoughts on this. And you gotta remember, so far it hasn't been confirmed. This is just speculation at this point. And I just gave you guys my thoughts on what would happen if this is indeed true. I do not want this to happen. But those are just my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. You guys have your thoughts, which I want to know in the comment section down below. Let me know all of it. Do you guys want this to happen? Do you not want this to happen? What are your reasons? All of that, leave it in the comment section down below. And if you remember, if you like my content and if you really want to support my content, if you want to support channels like mine who don't work for these insane corporations who have basically flipped all of you off, remember to like, share, and subscribe. And remember to click on the bell icon to let you know every single time I post a new video. And there should be another link in the description box down below if you want to donate directly to this channel and help this channel grow. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome as always, and please join me for my next one. Bye.